welcome once again to Clinical Theurgy, episode 42. Congratulations, this show has officially figured out the answer to life, the universe, and everything. But yet they can't figure out how to stay alive.
Wrong, Karen.
So I believe when last we left off, you guys were trying to solve problems with life, death, and everything else around it.
Niev was being questioned by a priest that was going to be resurrecting her, and he was basically trying to ask her questions in such a way they'd be like, oh, she doesn't want to come back, we're not rezzing her. Give me my 500 gold. But she answered the questions satisfactorily, but she had like these spirits go into her. It was like part of her past life. So she is that we don't know exactly what all happens with that yet. We left off basically where she was resurrected. We're in Megiddo.
It was like super easy too for the party to get her resurrected, right?
Super easy. We only had to go to a creepy temple to god of betrayal and spookiness and weird disembodied people faces talking to us and stuff.
I don't know, it didn't feel like we had to do a whole lot to me.
Yeah, because you just got to sit with
babysit
the body.
my body, yeah.
Body babysitter.
Body sitting.
Body
I'm used to it.
I'm used to body sitting in all the ways that could be perceived.
That just sounds creepy.
But yeah. Go on.
I was just gonna say, but yeah, that they had to basically. Antaeus was babysitting my body, and Goron and Ivy. They first went to talk to the priest, and he said he would do it if he could ask me some questions. They talked to Niev to make sure she wanted to come back, which she did. And then they had to also sell some of the things that we had gotten from the Hill Giants in order to have enough funds to pay for the resurrection.
Well, we mostly traded the
gems.
Gem for that,
Yeah.
but there was the extra 500, I think. But yeah.
All right. Well, Niev, you awaken. Your eyes flutter open. Things feel different a little bit on the inside of you. Things feel sort of swirly. A little bit of dizziness, a little bit of discomfort. Your body is yours, and it feels like yours, but it also doesn't feel like yours. Almost as strange as when you first woke up in Brianna's body for the first time. You've kind of grown back into your normal body, but here you are, once again feeling this sort of just discomfort with your arms don't feel quite the same, your legs don't feel quite the same, your body just doesn't feel like it holds itself the same way as you sit up and see barely the appearance of your friends in this pitch black room, and you feel the darkness sort of creeping around you.
I am I'll start feeling my face and trying to figure out what's different.
Yeah, you're reaching all over yourself, giving yourself kind of a personal pat down to make sure that nothing about your physicality has changed. And it all feels right, but it also feels different. Like the feeling you get when you walk into a room that used to be yours, but it's now decorated much different than it was before. The same, very, very the same. but eerily different.
I'll look around. Goron? Elizabeth?
You can barely see
I mean,
Gulron's face, but you do not see Elizabeth's face.
Sorry.
I think that's normal for you to like wake up and that be the first name that you might say.
She didn't. She like barely met Elizabeth. She met Elizabeth.
Oh right,
like,
that's right. I'm
once.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
So she met her once right
There's
before
too
she
many
went off to
people.
die.
Yeah. Our souls knew each other though. But yeah, so I would be like,
Yeah.
Goron, Ivy, Antaeus.
Are you really okay? Are you back?
I'm back. I feel kind of strange. Am I the same as I was?
She?
It's a little hard to tell because, of course, it is incredibly dark in here. But she looks the same as best you can tell.
Has her head changed at all?
Her head has not changed at all. It is the same.
God.
Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was.
I will. Do I see the priest or whatever?
Yeah, there is a like silhouetted face that kind of floats just off to the other side of where the party is. And you can see them and little like silhouettes of their hand kind of move about. You are awakened now, as you
I
truly
am.
should be.
Thank you for resurrecting me.
You're quite welcome. You're more whole than you ever have been.
Perhaps that's what I'm feeling. I do feel different.
Well, sometimes when you're more than just one, that can sometimes leave you feeling a little disoriented. Don't worry, you'll come to feel more comfortable as it all sort of sets in.
I'll nod and say, I appreciate it. And I'll kind of look at.
He'll like kind of lean in, and it's more of his like face and neck will become more visible, and he'll say, "You will not appreciate it. You will come to feel like this is your own personal hell, and when you die, you will finally have the rest you so much of you so desperately clings to."
I don't really know what to say to that, so I guess I'll just sort of nod, like, oh, okay.
We're done here. Thank you very much for your patronage, and I look forward to seeing how everything turns out for all of you as the days pass.
Days? I'm assuming that like I'm like looking into her pupil like this right now, or checking her tonsils or something.
Days will pass and things will change. Everything will work out as it is intended. The figure kind of disappears into the blackness behind him.
Temple's creepy as hell. Can we go?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just agreeing with Ivy. Yes, let's go. But
Do we ever procure those diamonds we need? If I'm to restore her to her full self, I need.
We have the money,
Diamond
but we
dust.
haven't gone and actually gotten the diamond dust yet.
Yes, forgot about that.
I should pick those up before so I can cast it in the morning.
Oh, by the way, if you were wondering what that was for, Steve, I was trying to decipher if there was a dialect, like maybe like an accent or something that they were using, or if it was just a nondescript voice.
No, just a sort of nondescript voice. Okay. So you guys can head out of the temple in search of diamonds to help Niev recover potentially even further than before. Should have actually transitioned that a little better. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh no, that's the right one.
It's a fun time shopping for some diamonds.
But yeah, you guys can head back out of the darkness and into the city streets. It is bright and noisy as you re-enter them.
Does the noise make me want to stab something?
No, it's a pleasant noise as opposed to a painful noise.
It's good to get out of that dark place. More than one way or another.
I was going to say, in more ways than one, Goron.
Yes. I'm glad to have you back. There are some changes we're gonna make going forward. I need you to remind me if I forget. I should always shield you before we head out.
I will remind you. How kind of...
Do you still have the platinum ring I gave you? I ask everyone.
Sure.
Yes.
I'm looking over my body now anyway because I feel different, right? So, yes, I have it. It's here.
Good.
I'm sorry that that it was necessary for you guys to spend all this money to bring me back.
Don't apologize for that. Your life's worth more than any amount of coin.
Yes, and fortunately for us financially, they had a gem that was worth roughly the cost of bringing you back, so...
Oh, that was some good fortune indeed.
Yes, I suppose. Yes.
Let's complete the process and find some of that diamond dust.
You make your way up to a few merchants within a large square. There are tents and buildings and stalls all about the area. Just like the rest of this city, a very hodgepodge of development that fills a market square, but still has a general feel to it that you're in a place where these are all merchants and that you're not going to randomly happen upon someone's home.
Along the way, I'm gonna ask Goron, were you gonna be the one casting the spell?
If you're getting at that you can cast it, no.
Oh no, I cannot.
Doesn't mind me. Why?
Well, I mean, if you wanted to save a little bit of money, how much do we need for the diamond dust?
Oh, you want to hire someone to do it for us?
No. What was the cost of the diamond dust?
1,000 gold.
Oh, if you wanted to save 1,000 gold, I've had to pull out this dagger.
What am I supposed to do with that?
Oh, basically what you would do is you would cut yourself, but not too
Cut
much.
myself?
Yes, and then you would put some of your blood into the casting of the spell, and it would act as material components for casting the spell. No? I can't do it because it's not my spell. I'd have to be the one casting it. But...
I don't know if you want me to roll a check for this. Like, I don't know, like,
you'll feel
using
a little
blood
bit weaker
magic,
physically.
like this blood, we're using a divine spell. Like, is this sacrilegious for me, or is this, like, matter to me?
So you can give me a knowledge religion check here. Yeah, so it's in no way sacrilegious. In some cases, this would be more like of a ritual thing for them. A couple of religions would really see this, like a great example of this is hold on, I'm forgetting my own deities. That's a great job, Steve.
This is reminiscent of Yulaws at all? It's a hard no for me.
It is definitely not reminiscent of Yulaws. That is most certainly not the thing I'm trying to remember. Why am I having such a hard time? I just need the
More
list.
importantly,
Yes.
I'm concerned how Krozkron would feel about it if, like, I don't get any vibe that, from what I've read about him, that this would be, like, something he wouldn't approve of, then I probably would maybe consider this.
So yeah, there's no reason that Krozkron would have any negative opinion of this. What I'm thinking of here is some followers of Neosi will use this in sort of sealing deals with each other. If there is a situation where, like, somebody agrees that they will do something for you in exchange for, like, casting, they might add a little bit of the blood there to act as a sort of bonding ritual in that circumstance. The mistress is notorious for using this kind of blood magic in very interesting ways to help fuel various inhibitions and interests of other people.
This can't be that easy. There must be some negative consequence for doing this.
Well, you'll feel physically weaker for a little while. But it's only 1,000 gold, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Well, I don't see why not then, if it's safe and not any permanent things with it.
Have you ever heard of the spell Blood Money?
What is the Knowledge Arcana?
Yeah, Knowledge Arcana.
No ranks in it.
Okay, so yeah, no idea.
Never heard of it. But I can surmise your same method you're doing here?
Yes, it functions similarly to it. There are some tweaks to it. It's a little bit different, but it does effectively function the same. So, I think it's somewhere around maybe 500 gold worth of material components, if I remember correctly. You end up suffering a little bit of damage to your strength. So, but it does bypass the ability or the need for spell components. Of course, you have to use them immediately because otherwise they would they become inert essentially.
Well, if you're guaranteeing it's safe, we can save some money and do this. I don't recall anything in Kraskron's teachings that this is against his will, so I don't see why not.
I mean, sure. I've used it a few times, and I haven't had anything major happen. Just the strength damage.
As I recall, you made a bathtub full of alcohol.
Or an ale, yes. Oh, and the barrel full of Order's Wrath.
Well, I can't think of something more pure than using my own blood to help heal you, Neo, so, I mean, sounds like a good idea. Let's go back to our inn and try it then.
Sure.
Okay. You head back to the inn, get yourselves situated, and you can exchange the knife. You can hand the knife over to Gulrun.
I'll start making some some designs on the ground and stuff.
Is he drawing a pentagram around here or something?
If you ask, I'm just gonna say no. It's just for effect, for visual effect. It seems appropriate.
I don't know if you're like memeing or not, but I'll.
No, I don't think there's any kind of actual
No, there's not.
anything that it requires.
It's like summoning needs for a devil or something.
But it does seem like the kind of thing that would immediately make Gulrun panic a little bit. Like, what are you doing?
Don't worry, just the law of equivalent exchange. It's fine.
Exactly. You know
All right,
Tom, right?
Mateus, how do I do this? Do I start casting the spell and then
Oh,
cut myself, or what do I do here?
It's cut first and then start casting.
yes.
Do I need
Yes,
to
you use it right before you start casting the other
cut
spell.
deeply? A small cut? How do I?
It kind of cuts for you as you start casting. Like you put the blade in place and you start the casting. You just kind of like drag it over as your first part of the casting, and it cuts as deep as it needs to when it does it.
All right, I'll give like a look at Antaeus, like as like I'll hold the knife over my arm or whatever, and then I'll just like look at him as if I'm ready for I'm waiting for like approval, like I've done the setup correctly.
If it looks fine, I'll give him the go-ahead, and I'll be prepared to take any notes if anything happens.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have cleaned off any of my blood that might be on there as well.
Well, sorry, this has to be the next day because I haven't memorized Restoration today.
That's within enough time for restoration, right? Because there's no.
I think you can do it a long time after.
I'm just double checking. Yeah, it's 1 week. Okay.
No, I just
it
can't cast
be
it twice
more
in
than one per week.
So she has 2, right? So I have to do
two.
one
One
and
this
have to wait
week,
a week.
one next week, right?
Yeah.
I knew there was something about a week. I couldn't remember which thing about the time constraint it was.
Well, that was good practice, but I just remembered I don't know the spell today, so we'll need to do this tomorrow.
Okay.
Certainly.
Speaking of, do you guys have my armor anywhere?
Oh, yeah, should be potted somewhere in the room.
Yep.
I guess.
Oh, thank goodness you remembered to do that.
I watered it with my holy magic water.
Oh.
You said there were no windows in the room, right?
There are no windows in the room. It is a storage room.
I guess I would have put it closest to one of the bigger holes, I guess, to try to get it sunlight, but it probably doesn't do anything.
No, there's no, yeah.
It doesn't come in, right?
No, the sunlight does not really come in. You'd be like next to where an alleyway would be for some of the cracks and holes. So.
Well, we've got the full day. Let's refocus. What are our goals here? Do we want to do anything before tomorrow?
What time of day is it actually?
It's based on when that casting finished and you guys like wandering around and then realizing on the way to the market that you don't really need to get anything from the market. It's probably like early afternoon. Probably like not even afternoon, a little before afternoon.
Where was this tall building that we needed to go to? Do I remember roughly where?
Oh, you can't miss it. It's like it is literally the tallest building in the city of Megiddo.
Well, we could do that. I don't know how long this will take, but
Perhaps, Goron, do you think you might be able to perhaps give me a little healing? I don't feel...
Oh, are you not at full?
at 6.
Good point.
Yeah.
You'll also bleed a little bit when you use it, so you'll take a little bit of damage.
Who, me or her?
You, I mean, you'll...
Oh, well, I'm fine.
basically.
She needs help.
Yes. That's the other effect of it.
Yeah, I'll just, while Antaeus and I guess Ivy contemplate what we want to do, I'll be healing Niev up. I'll just throw a few cure lights in chat.
Okay.
Is that good?
Let me get out my calculator.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we can go check out that building, try to see if we can figure out
That's
what item.
No, do you recall exactly what they said?
But who said?
There was something about a gem, right?
I think so.
Yes, it was a gem.
Notes on this.
Should be able to find some details, hopefully.
Yeah, some gem seems to be part of my family or something.
Oh, yes. I'm assuming it's probably a specific gem then.
Probably.
That place was kind of like a museum to some degree, right, Steve?
It was
If
like
I
a
remember
museum
correctly.
or something of the sort, where these people who find items and collect them and sort of create a museum-like place. But I know you got information that they always find some way to be able to claim like rightful ownership or something to the items.
Yes. Actually,
That was for Ivy's thing, but the ministry task. Can we
We don't
refocus
have
on?
a ministry task
We're
here.
supposed to pick up
Ministry
Elizabeth.
task- Yeah.
we're supposed to go
Levy.
from here to Levy.
Elizabeth is in Levy.
Yeah, I know, but I'm thinking like it was like a time-sensitive thing, right? So if we waste more time here, we're delaying that. That's what I'm getting at.
It's limitedly time sensitive. So there's some measure of like urgency, some measure of like as you can.
I know the Megiddo, it didn't necessarily sound like they were going to allow us, Megiddo, the people, the town itself is going to allow us to stay here very long, though.
Right. That's what I mean. We should, while we're waiting for my spell, we should do Ivy's thing and try to get out of here tomorrow morning. Then.
Yes. Actually, have we passed the
No, it's on the
building
west
at
side of town. You guys came in through the north.
all? Okay.
How are you feeling, Nia? Are you feeling back to full stature?
Yes, if I had to put a number value on it, I would say perhaps I only need 1, so I think I'm good. I can recover that while I sleep.
Well, might as well. I have lots of spells today. So I will heal you again with the amazing power of Kraskaran.
I feel his warmth.
Excellent. Don't make that face, Ivy. You felt Kraskaran's warmth many of times.
Gentle touch, caress of Kraskaran.
No, Kraskaran is not gentle. He's firm and strengthens you.
Is this a euphemism that I'm not understanding? Is this a dwarven thing?
No, well, kind of, yes. But
He's
Kraskaran is
firm
forever.
and rigid.
Yes, he's nice and firm, and he wants to touch you.
Well, not so much he wants to touch you. I kind of guide his will with your. I'm like a vessel for his will, kind of.
So Goron wants to touch you.
Well,
With
yes.
his nice, firm will.
He sounds tense.
Yes. I mean, maybe. It seems like you're all making fun of me, and I don't like it.
No,
We're not making fun of you, just teasing you slightly.
All right. Well, if you're all ready, let's go check out this museum.
Yes, let's.
Just for the record, we have all our valuables on us, right? We're bringing all our valuables with us.
Sure.
But we paid for high protection on the cart and everything. Okay.
the horse. Yep.
I'll
think
just
we
check
ought
with Inteus. Did you feed them like I asked you?
If I haven't, I'll make sure to do it now. I don't believe that I specifically said that I did,
Sure,
but
you did say at some point that you fed him because you made some comment last session about whenever you need to get up and go stretch your legs, you'd feed the horses.
I just want to make sure they're not
Yes.
dead from starvation when we get back.
Horses need food.
But yeah, I remember last session I specifically created water and food. The spell, I have it. So if that has been used up, they should have plenty of food for whatever. But yeah, then I guess we're heading to that.
Give them a little sugar cube each too before we leave.
Yep, the four of you can set forth on your way to the archives of Megiddo. You'll
When we arrive there, the first thing I want to look for is a color to see if they're part of any specific.
There are 6 colors.
How many colors are used in this town for?
6.
Okay, so it's okay.
Seems like that means that everyone is welcome here, or everyone has equal claim or something like that. Inteus?
Or everyone here is willing to protect this place. I don't know.
It's under all of their protection, perhaps.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But the
Knowledge
door,
is valuable.
the door is shut.
There's no.
Is it
Hours
locked,
listed?
or is it like?
Oh, is it locked?
Are there any
I'll
hours
go
listed?
try to open the door.
All right, you set off the trap. No.
The fireball emerges from the door.
Like, why would the archives be trapped? Like, this is not someplace Ivy would be like, I should look for a trap. She's gonna open the door.
You reach up and you grab the door handle, and as you take hold of the door handle, the other 3 of you watch Ivy disappear.
Bye-bye.
Like dematerialize, or is there like a
She
spell
sort of
effect? Or
fades away.
So there's no hours listed. Then I'm assuming.
No.
he's still looking for hours. Where the hell did she go? Is this magic, Inteus?
That's a good question. Is this like anything that I've ever seen? Would that be Arcana or?
That would be Arcana.
I mean,
Okay,
I want to find out what just happened to me, but I
didn't know if
We'll,
it was-
we'll get to you.
I don't know if it was
We gotta-
spellcraft or not.
They got to get to a point because there's some exposition that's going to happen on your side, but I want to see what they do to try to solve this.
Well, Ryan's on a hot seat today.
He is.
Well, I also have a plus 27 to that, so.
So yeah, you are watching, and this is reminiscent of some form of teleportation. Definitely trans-dimensional movement. The way her body disappeared, it disappeared on a kind of out to inward thing, which is what happens when you are teleporting. If she were being, say, disintegrated, it would happen inward to outward, but this is outward to inward.
Now, when she appears on the other side, would it be inward to outward then? Or
It would be inward to outward that she would appear.
Okay. It looks like it's some kind of teleportation.
Should we follow then?
Sure.
I'll
I'll
go-
go ahead and touch it.
I was gonna say I'll go try it as well.
No, I'll push her back. Us first. We already lost you once.
Okay.
I'll put my hand on it next.
You put your hand on it. Nothing
Make sure it's a
happens.
little run. I'll touch it as well.
What?
Nothing happens when you touch the door, and Teus either.
I detect magic on this door.
The door is certainly magical. It is filled with conjuration magic and abjuration magic.
Does it look like a normal door handle then, other than that?
It is a normal door handle. Other than that, and a normal door. You start like tinkering with it, and you hear as your tool gets stuck, and you're like trying to get it out of there.
That's
You're
probably
doing
gonna
it
have,
to
like,
us.
actual tools, and it probably like jury rigs these tools
Yes.
together.
But it's kind of at that moment that you realize like there's not actually a locking mechanism here. The locking mechanism is a fake. That's like as you're turning the tool, you realize like your tool couldn't turn it because there isn't a locking mechanism, like your makeshift tool.
Could we try and pull open the door?
Yeah, you will find the door is locked.
I just knock on the door.
Okay. We'll get back to the three of you then. Ivy. Let's change up some of our sounds here.
Gulran solved the puzzle by being a normal person and just knocking on the door.
And
Speak friend to enter.
Ivy, you slowly fade back into the room as your vision dissipates for a moment and then sort of realigns to see the area around you. You are in the middle of dining room, conference room. A very large table sits in the center of it, and there are a handful of people seated at the table, and a couple of other people standing around the table, and they all four look over at you. Welcome, Miss Phelps. Please, would you take a seat?
Okay.
You can walk over to one of the chairs. It's a very large chair. You can pull it out, take a seat if you'd like. If you do,
Sure, yeah.
the chair is very comfortable. Obviously very, very expensive. The other two that are standing will kind of walk over to the table, and they will also pull chairs out and take a seat themselves. There's someone at the door. Are they with you?
Yeah.
You're
That's the rest of my group.
certain. How many of them are there?
3.
You trust them?
Yes.
Would you stake your life on their actions?
Yes.
Niev, as you're fiddling with trying to like twist and pull open the door handle, you slowly fade away.
Bye.
What's happening?
I guess you actually knocked, and it's because the knock is actually what triggers it, but presumably your hand is still on the handle. And as you knock, you fade away. Go around. Antaeus, what are you doing?
So, like, right as I knocked, she disappeared?
Yes.
Okay, so I just tried knocking again.
Okay. Nothing seems to happen.
What is the meaning of this, Antaeus? What is this magic?
Does the door push open?
I mean, we know
No.
the answer out of character, but I'm just waiting for the intelligence character to tell me how to do it.
I don't know what's triggering this.
Our great minds working together can...
Use your insight.
Yeah, so with your insight checks combined, you can put together that you have to have a hand on the handle at the same time you're knocking for it to trigger. Or somebody has to have a hand on the door handle at the time that the door is being knocked on.
Well, I guess this is a good time to figure out if this works. I'll put my hand on the handle and then knock on the door.
You will
I'll
disappear.
put a hand on him.
You will disappear with him if you put your hand on him.
Oh! I figured it out, Antaeus.
So, Niev, you slowly appear, and there are 4 people seated around a table. Ivy's the back of Ivy's chair would be to you, so you would not see Ivy seated. But one of the four of them will ask, Miss Phelps, would you please introduce your friend?
Yes, this is, Niev. I don't actually think I ever got your last name, but this is Niev. She is one of my traveling companions.
Yes, I am Niev Soleil. It is a pleasure to meet you.
You said there were 3 of them. Where are the other 2? And as he starts to say 2, Antaeus finally phases into view with Gulran's hand on his shoulder. But only Gulran's hand. No,
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
These two, that's Teus, Goron. I apparently don't know anyone's last names. I don't think they're important.
Last names are very important. Miss Niev, your
Yes.
last name, please.
It's Soleil.
Thank you. And Mr. Antaeus,
Yes. Amon, A-M-O-N.
thank you. And Gulran.
Don't have one.
Don't have one.
Well, you see, I was adopted, so I don't really.
At a very young age, I then assume, yes?
Oh, sorry, I froze.
Okay.
What
At a
were
very
you saying?
young age, then, I assume, yes?
Ah, yes. As a child, I was found.
Well, please, have a seat. There is much we would need to speak of. If a member of the illustrious Phelps family has arrived.
You will sit, or I will sit. Not speaking for them.
Is it perception? Like, what is going on in here? Are they like eating food, or what's happening? What is?
They're just sort of seated around around a large table. It looks like a giant dining room table, like the kind of table you would see if like you gathered all your family together to sit. But it has, the chairs are like massive. The room is very like architecturally well put together. It is well designed with a handful of like these bits of artwork that are kind of abstract in nature hung around. It's a very well constructed room. Even with a 19, you can easily identify that.
Yes, I think Gulron's like looking around, just like kind of amazed at everything, and just puts a hand on the table. Says, "Before we sit down, what is the meaning of this? Who are all of you, and what's going on?"
We are a little more than half of the archivists of Megiddo, and we are aware of why Miss Phelps is here. And we must say that we're not excited by her arrival.
Oh, well,
But we knew
I'll
she
pull a
was...
chair.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll pull a chair up and start sitting.
We didn't necessarily know it would be a she. We heard there would one day be a strong warrior of the Phelps family that would arrive. Didn't quite think it would be a woman. You're such a sexist. I hate you.
Are they all on one side of the table then?
No, they're all seated in different spots. Two of them are across from you guys in like kind of diagonal corners, and the other two are at the ends of the table.
Is there exactly enough chairs for us to sit, or are they just like randomly empty
There are
chairs?
so many chairs. This is the
Okay.
kind of thing where like everybody's kind of half shouting to talk to each other.
Are there doors or windows here?
There are a few doors. No windows though in this particular room.
And do they happen to do they just look like humanoids, or do they happen to?
They all appear to be human. Now, I assume that someone has keyed you in on certain items that we may be holding related to your family's lineage, or at least believed to be related to your family's lineage. Is that correct?
Yes.
And presumably you want to see and take these items that are not
Yes.
actually yours by any legal standard.
I don't know enough to confirm or deny if they are actually mine by a legal standard, but yes, I have come here to attempt to acquire these items.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That's to see if they have any bands on them or anything on their arms or legs.
No, they are all very well dressed and do not have any bands upon them. But they do have like hints of color. Some in their shirt, some in like a little like lapel that they're wearing. Some of them have it as like one has it as a scarf around her neck. Right now, seated before you, there are 3 men and 1 woman.
And they're all different colors, I'm assuming then?
Yes, that is correct.
Related to one of the houses, presumably.
Correct. Well, this is most certainly not what I want to deal with. I suppose those of us that are here can introduce ourselves. I am Bronco Rybar, head of the Rybar family. We are probably best known in the city for taking care of larger scale problems that might arise within the city. The next person will speak up. Name's Podka. Podka Ponic. I don't like any of you. Just to get that out there. Some about you that doesn't feel right. Like you're in the wrong place. But people like you always are easy to motivate to get things done. So even though I don't like you, you're probably worth my time. The next person around. The name's Vlasta Kask. And, well, you won't hear much from the other two of them. My stake in things is likely the highest. I have contributed the most to the archivists, and I have the most final say-so in whatever ends up transpiring. The woman with the scarf around her neck looks over to the two of you. And I am Evelina Bartos. Don't listen to most of what the three of these men all have to say. They spend a great deal of their time arguing over which one of them has the largest membership amongst them, and I feel it's such a trivial waste of time. Shut up, woman. I don't want to hear this from you. Let's get down to business, shall we, Miss Phelps? We have little interest in giving you access to this object, but deals are deals, and we stick to our deals. There are problems we have. I don't suppose you'd let me know. Did you come here down Giant's Pass?
We did.
So you've likely experienced how dangerous that pass is.
Yes.
Very good. Hold on one moment. Can we change the sound decorum? I'm not quite content with it. Perhaps something a little more sensitive and soothing. I'm not really in a thinking mood. I'm in a talking mood right now. And as he says that, there's like really no one that he talked to specifically. But as he says that, there will be a sudden change in music. And not really, like, you don't really notice the music you didn't really notice the music at first. It just sort of fit in with what was happening. And then there's kind of like a soothing tune that plays. That's somewhat better. We made a deal some time ago with the people who managed to help us acquire the object that you're looking for. And they added certain stipulations that they wanted. One of them is a test of your, let's call it metal, before allowing you even the ability to see the object. Anyone not willing to submit to the test, well, we had the right to tell them that they can, to be frank, go right the fuck away.
Okay. Go on.
We happen to have been worried for some time because, as of late, finding challenges that aren't just simply suicide seem to be problematic. And Megiddo has some very interesting rules about hiring out people on missions of a particularly deadly nature. Here, we have managed to find something that I think should tie into an experience you've already handled. The Giants are a rather problematic group, but they have a reason they are a particularly problematic group. In the mountains to the east of here, near immediate east of here, in fact, there is a keep that lies atop one of them, home to a Frost King, as he has began referring to himself. This Frost King has been creating quite a problem, though, amongst the Giants, as he happened to come across something that we're certain shouldn't exist, something that likely should be put somewhere for safest keeping. If you can acquire this object from him, then I believe we should be able to work out some sort of deal. If you can prove that you can, first and foremost, settle things with the Giants and keep things much more calm. But we'll offer you even more if you can bring us back whatever it is that the Frost Giant is using, the Frost King is using, in order to cause such chaos. There are reports of avalanches, heavy storms, dangerous mountainous conditions, and giants that will bend to his every whim. Possibly out of fear, perhaps he has some greater ability to control the weather from some device he has, perhaps he is holding captive some of their families, perhaps it is something as simple as enough wizards that allow him the ability to dominate multiple leaders of various different giant tribes. Whatever it is, if you can find out what it is and stop it from being a problem, and if it's valuable, bring it back to us. You'll have room to talk about what you'd like. It's suicidal, though. I mean, it's not suicidal, but you're supposed to be pretty strong, right? It's what the rumor says. All you Phelps got like some kind of strong magical power.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, does that mean no or yes? You said yeah, but you said something like that. So is something like that worse? Like...
No, it's like I'm physically strong and magically strong.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. I knew I was right. What the brute over there is trying to get across is that it is, though, going to be a rather dangerous endeavor. Frost giants, in general, are not exactly easy to fell creatures. They're often plagued with selfish intentions, and they're not exactly the type to be willing to just deal with the requests of common people. But if you can perhaps find answers to these questions, I think we can do a little more than just figure out what kind of deal we have. We can easily let you see the gem, and we can easily work with you to figure out how to best figure out what this gem has anything to do with you. It seems like you have some kind of interest in it, right? You wouldn't have traveled this far and asked about it otherwise.
I do have interest in it.
One thing that particularly interests me, though, you're a rather unexpected type to see. It is not often that I see, first and foremost, a woman of your stature that is also adept at spells, but then does not have anywhere upon them a book of them. Do tell me, where does your magic come from?
It's kind of an innate ability, you could say.
So you have other manifestations of your magic then as well?
Some other, yes.
You are a very intriguing woman, Miss Phelps.
When she asks her that, I'm gonna kind of like look over her and try to see if she still has her eyes doing the thing that her eyes were doing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still as blatant as before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I'll just try not to draw attention to it.
I mean, I assume it's pretty obvious. I mean,
Yeah.
I would love a chance to get to know more about where your power comes from. If you can ever find some time.
well, it seems we have a lot on our hands right at the moment to do potentially this task plus the other things we are in the area for, but if time allows, maybe I can work something in.
That would be quite nice and I think beneficial for the both of us, if you could. I have a lot of resources at my disposal that could help us both better understand you.
Yes, I would like to better understand who and what I am.
Well, I'm not sure how long you plan to be here in Megiddo, but if you're interested at any point, feel free to come back. I will set a pathway for you when you return.
And this was the girl talking to me, right?
Correct.
And what was her name again?
Her name is Evelina
The house name?
Bartos.
Ah. Actually, I was just about to ask the same question she was, because I was gonna try to see if I knew anything about the house or like what they do, if there's like anything specific that they do.
Yeah, so give me a knowledge local.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Bartos house is they are sort of the information gatherers of this thing, and they have a very strong interest in magic and all things related to magic. So where Kask is the kind of person who is probably more likely to handle the acquisitions end of things, Evelina and the Bartos family are the kind of people who would find out about these things in the first place and inform Kask of what is of interest and what needs to be acquired.
They aren't particularly associated with doing that by any means necessary, are they? Or
So around here in Megiddo, crime is a gray area, and what is right and wrong are up to the decision of each of the individual groups, or the groups as a composite if you wrong multiple groups. So it's a kind of a gray area. Like, it's not necessarily by any means necessary, but by any means that they could probably get away with.
so she could be in danger if she did that, but it's not guaranteed.
Maybe. It's hard to say. Like, putting her in danger, like in this property, would put every family in danger.
Well, I mean, if she were to go visit them, I mean.
Well, she would be visiting them here.
Oh,
so she's
okay,
by the path. She means that coming into the building, and having a direct line to her.
Also, oh, go ahead.
Well, if we may get back to things, I would appreciate it. We can give you a map that will get you to the keep of the Storm King, or I'm sorry, the Frost King. But it's likely that's not your safest route. There is a group that is likely more valuable to be helpful in your endeavors. In fact, a group that has indirectly reached out to us on a couple of different occasions. A group that refers to themselves as the Order of Stone. They are a druidic circle of stone giants that would like to see things in the mountain ranges get back to their natural order. They're willing to work with anyone we send, given that we feel we can trust them.
Well, Niev here is a druid, so
Well, good. She'll understand the value of nature.
yes.
I look forward to meeting some other druids.
Do you mind if I ask a few questions about all of this?
I don't think me saying no is going to stop you.
Probably
That's fair.
not.
I didn't know if it would. Well, if you said no, I would assume that you wouldn't give me answers, which would kind of prevent me from wanting to ask questions in the first place. But you said that there were instructions, sort of, given right when you acquired this item to do these tasks.
Yes, that is what I said.
Would it be too much to ask?
It would be.
Or I'll look at all of them and see if they all kind of have the same sentiments.
Evelina is just shaking her head.
I just didn't know who donated this. I don't know if it's public knowledge or not, or...
Would you just tell the man, for the love of all that is holy, do you have to play this game every time? Listen, we know you're powerful. We know it's bigger than everyone else. Just get on with it. It's not about that. Why does everything with you have to be about claiming that? Listen, it's just none of your business to know what the deal is.
Oh, I apologize. I was more concerned about who brought it, not necessarily the details.
Why
of the
would
deal.
we let you know that?
I figured it was a long shot, but I figured it was worth asking.
Jesus, these people.
I mean, if I hadn't asked, I would have known as much as I do right now,
Can
right?
you believe these people?
Well, I mean, I also had some other questions that were more pertinent.
Let's go with this.
Yes, I'll look back to the other one that was more accommodating, and I'll just ask her about the how long the giants have been here.
Oh, good, thank you. I was afraid you were going to ask me a question about his property, and at that point, I can't tell you the details of his thing.
No, I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about relevant things.
Want to know anything about his property?
Most people don't.
I can assure you.
Most people certainly don't.
Oh my god.
So the giants you're asking about, then?
Yes.
Which giants? Please repeat yourself. I apologize.
I guess I didn't specify, but I guess any information about any of the groups about them, how long they've been here, what kind of claims that they claim to have over the areas.
Well, typically the giants have coexisted for a while. Giants Pass has been annoying at times, but there's always been a soft measure of civility. Giants will come, you give them a deal because the giants claim that portion of the road is theirs. Everything just sort of works out. Stone giants were separated from frost giants, hill giants separated from them as well. They were all sort of their own individual enclaves, and some of them with their own sort of external structures. So some stone giants were druidic, some stone giants were colonizers of the mountains, same with the frost giants. The hill giants typically just tend to live in caves and, I don't know, occasionally come out and beat someone up and maybe take one of them to eat if they're particularly hungry. But all in all, it's been relatively well balanced. But they've lived there for hundreds of years. Probably longer. It's only been recent that things have gotten out of hand.
And how recent? Does it coincide with the arrival of this object that you mentioned?
Well, we're not certain it's an object per se. We theorize it must be an object because of the significance and shift, but perhaps if a single frost giant king has taken over the throne, maybe he is a more organized man with a better system of orchestration.
Yes. Does it happen to fall around the time of that happening with all the...
We know not
strange...
what their correlation, whether or not, or what goes on in the frost giant keep.
Okay.
People don't typically go, humanoids don't typically go up to the giants to make deals, as, I don't know if you know this or not, but things that giants have are not sized proportionally to things that we use.
Yes. Like carts and such?
Exactly.
Not that they would need carts per se, but...
But for example, if you wanted to go there and you wanted to buy yourself a nice watch, you would not be able to do so, as the watch would be for a giant-sized thing and not...
It would make for a nice belt.
It would be probably even too big to be a belt.
Oh. That makes sense. So, just trying to figure out everything that we need to know going into this. Were there any other issues with the between the groups up until recently, or is it?
No, they have largely coexisted for a great deal of time, but separated from each other. So, if you did run into a frost giant, you knew your best means was either to hope to bargain your way out or to run. But they usually didn't come this far down. The stone giants often didn't even come this far down unless they were in particular need of something. And the hill giants were, like we said, only an occasional nuisance.
And which ones were the ones that we ran into again?
Both stone giants and hill giants. The first thing you ran into were stone giants. The second thing you ran into were hill giants.
Okay, the larger group was hill giants.
Yes.
Okay.
The one that actually decided to just attack us without even trying to talk or make a deal.
Yeah. Yes, because we ran into a small group of stone giants, and then a much larger group of hill giants on the way up here.
Yes, I assume that the hill giants were most obstructive?
Yes, very much so.
As of late, that is their nature.
Well, we killed like 8 of them off.
Good. That will help out a lot with some of the problems there and hopefully keep them at bay, although if something else is influencing them, that may not do that either.
This might be knowledge you might not have, but do you have any idea of the rough estimations of populations of any of them, or small enclaves, or the larger areas in that?
Do you think we send regular people out to survey the giant population?
No, I didn't assume that you guys knew, but I just figured it would be worth asking in case you did happen to have the information.
Yeah, without access to scrying, because this country doesn't understand the great value in being able to survey land properly, we can't know these things without putting people at great risk, and no one's really interested in putting themselves at that great a risk to count. We can count here.
That's fair.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm being a little curt. It's hard. Anytime Casca's around, I tend to find that all I want to do is punch him, as opposed to have a dialogue. Perhaps Casca wouldn't mind leaving. Fat chance.
Are these prominent? I'm assuming these are prominent figures within the town.
Yes.
Is Kosk the sexist, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Question mark? I don't know if that would apply. Or
Yeah, no. These are. You're basically looking at at 4 of the leaders of the houses.
Would I know anything about them aside from what they've told us? Like, I don't know, previous relationships.
No, with a 23, you know that they do. They all basically hate each other, but they coexist enough because they recognize that, like, the 6 families together keep balance in the city better than if, like, there's been numerous permutations of this, and the 6 of them have kind of risen to the top because they figured out how to best kind of maintain the glue that binds everything together. So much of what you'd know with the 23 is that they've all done good things for the city in their own specific way. They've all earned the right to be in the position they are, but they do often bicker amongst each other.
Interesting. I'll just kind of awkward look between the two of them as she says that to him.
So all we need to know now is something you're interested in, or are you just going to go on your way and let us keep what's ours?
Well, this isn't a decision I can make by myself, unfortunately.
I'll look at Ivy and I'll say, you know that I will do whatever I can to help you. And if we must go battle the Frost King, then we'll go battle the Frost King.
I'm glad to see the way that things are supposed to be is the way they are. So, Gul'ran and Antaeus, what do you say?
I will go for Gul'ran.
An immediate venture that needs to be taken?
I would prefer it done sooner than later if you're interested, but you must wait.
Someone was supposed to be picking up shortly. I don't know how long this will take.
I'm not quite certain myself, so if you have other things you need to rush out and do, perhaps handle your other business and return here when you can.
I'll kind of look to Ivy and say, I don't know how urgent this is to you, but...
What does it matter? Just tell her what you're going to do.
This is the guy who thinks he's hot shit, basically.
That's not how things work anymore, and you need to lay off on that shit. It hasn't worked that way here for a long time, and it most certainly doesn't work that way outside of here. What do you know? It's clear. She may be strong, but look, the priest has sat silently most of the time. The only one here that hasn't been piping up the entire time. Seems like the rightful leader of the group.
Your last part of that assessment was correct, but the first part was far from it. And the next time you speak ill of my comrades like that, I grip my warhammer.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. That would end up real bad for you.
It'll end up real bad for you if you talk down to my friends.
You want to have it out? We can have it out right here, right now.
I'm just asking for some respect. Regardless of gender, these people have put their lives on the lines for all of us, for this country, and they deserve your respect.
I'll give respect when respect is proven. Although, up until then, I'm not gonna respect someone who just comes in here with the slightest bit of information and thinks that just because they know something, they're better than the rest of the people seated at this table.
Who here has acted like they're better than the rest of the people at this table?
He immediately turns and looks at Evelina.
Well, back to the question at hand, ignoring this macho bullshit. Do we think the one we are to pick up is going anywhere? Can we spare a few days to attempt this and see how things pan out?
I can commune with our superiors and check on that before we make any decision.
Well, sort it out. You need not let us know. You need to let us know only that you plan to take care of the problem. And if we don't hear back from you, let's say in 10 days, we'll presume you're not working on the task, and we may send someone else to deal with it. We may not. It will depend on who comes into town.
Well, we'll make sure
Sure.
to... Oh, go ahead.
Just so we have the information, if we do this, where can we find this druidic tribe?
Yes, yes. The stone giants. I need a map. Let me remember here. Let me see this. I've got it for you. Stone giant. I'm sorry. Order of the Stone map. Directional. What was the code? 422, I believe. As he says that, on the top of the table, a rather large map will unfurl with a marker for the city of Megiddo. And then at a certain point, there's a couple of specific symbols in where the mountains are, marking off certain specific designation points and certain hill structures. It's basically a topographical map with a couple of key indication points of bits of either architecture or other key landmarks that might be there. Yeah, you're not with the spellcraft. I actually forget the root of the spell behind this, but I believe it's part of the shrink object is the name of this. Not shrink item.
Oh, as a player, I kind of assumed I wouldn't really get a whole lot of it because I assumed it wasn't entirely a spell per se.
It's caused by a spell effect, but you get the idea that things are probably sort of stored within the table, and as they speak, things will kind of extend onto the table because it kind of grew out upon the table.
They it's essentially they miniaturize the information so they can fit a bunch of it in there to some degree, and then
usually in something like this there'd be little holes that there might be that would cause the objects to kind of grow out of their containers.
I'm probably just figuring this out loud to myself, kind of mumbling under my breath.
Your friend thinks himself a bit of a bardos, huh? So.
If you mean intelligent and kind, yeah, seems to
I mean, a smarty
match.
pants who assumes he knows everything about everything and can figure everything out.
I mean, checks out so far.
But
I'm assuming you're talking about me?
Yeah, he's talking about you.
Oh. Should we not be informed as best as possible?
So,
going
Mr.
into this
Ghoulron, I assume this map is to your liking?
I mean, I asked the question, and sure, if you can point out to me which marker is the tribe, yes, it's to my liking.
So, Mr. Ghoulron, you'll see that right here
Is
the
the macho
location
dude?
you need to reach to. Yeah.
I'm
trying to make sure my posture is different, so if I'm leaned this way, it is Kosk. If I am if I'm doing the kind of lean back and speaking the grumpy voice, that is that is Rybar, and then Bannock, or not Bannock, the other one. No, yeah, Bannock is is seated back and talking in a very soft voice, and then leaned a bit forward is Evelina.
Because I would immediately, if he starts doing that, I'm going to immediately talk to Evelina because she seems like she's more cooperative, and I'll kind of reiterate Ivy's point to her.
You can address all of us.
Let me make something perfectly clear to all of you. Evelina doesn't have anything to do with this. The gem is my family's. So, you talk under my terms, you work under my terms, or you walk.
Oh,
I'll
you're
look for
Phelps as
Ivy.
well?
I'll look to Ivy to see if she's okay with this. If not,
Are you a Phelps as well?
I have documentation proving that it is mine. Miss Phelps does not have such documentation. So,
Oh,
You may want
Would it
to,
be possible to see said documentation?
if you want to bring proper legal counsel here, certainly. I'm happy to. If you would like to get yourself a judicator to arrive here and deal with the situation, I'd be happy to discuss the issue.
Well, it just seems like we're trying to find out information, and for whatever reason, it seems like you do not wish to give us the information that we need to help you. Because she asked you a
Andreas,
question about something.
I have
He
given you...
doesn't want to give us the information because he doesn't actually want us to succeed, because he doesn't want to give up the object that he deems his.
I am
Let
giving
him
you the
talk.
answers and the information you need. I've given you the location. I've given you what I know. Evelina has even been helpful to you, considering this is my project. I'm surprised she's even said a word, except to insult me.
Sure. Just talk to Gulron and get the rest of the information we want.
Thank you. You're a well-trained woman.
Oh, I forgot this was that one.
Now, Mr. Gulron, you'll see right here is where you'll need to get to. If you simply follow the mountain path here and around and up to here.
Where on the in the? I guess I would just try to be if possible, move, or if she is near me, I would kind of ask. Was it Evelina, right?
Yeah, Evelina.
Okay. I would kind of inquire a little bit about her house out of curiosity, because they seem to be interested in similar things to me.
We can talk at another time. This table is not the proper place for it.
Of course. It would be interesting to compare notes at some point.
When Ivy comes, you can follow along with her if need be. I hate to be mean, but do try to not be in the way.
No, I understand. I appreciate that. Yes, of course.
Enough. Can we get back to what's important? Are you taking the map?
I'll look at Gulron.
I believe so.
Good. Take the map, and please. Door is right over there. Make your way up.
Before we leave, I will smile and look at Mr. Cask and say in Druidic, in my circle, you would be strung up by your thumbs until you learned some respect. But I'm smiling.
I like that girl.
I'll roll up the map and put it in my bag or whatever I have.
You got spunk, girl, he'll say back to you in Druidic.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get up and turn around and walk out.
What'd she say? What did she say? You tell me what she said. I'm not telling you a damn thing. That girl's funny and she deserves it this time. Yeah, so the four of you can take your leave. And with that, we can take a short break. Back shortly.
Nice.
and we're
adopted
back.
Hadhup.
Oh no, I'm like actively role playing as Hadhup a lot. Like I will actively say things as Hadhup. I want some eggies. I have some eggies.
Aw.
When I'm making Whitney's breakfast sandwich from time to time, which she eats for lunch, I'll sometimes joke about eating the egg because it's delicious. I want the crunchy part.
Hadhup is a joy.
But there is no Hadhup here. Only a bunch of grumps that, when you leave out the door, you will basically walk out the solid door of the front of the building and back into the streets of Megiddo.
I'll look at Antaeus after we've left, and I'll say, are there seriously people in this country that think that men are superior?
Well, I mean, there are, but usually I find them to be... Well, anybody that thinks that any specific group usually tends to be of lower intelligence, in my experience anyways. So I immediately assumed that he didn't know very much other than what he wanted done, and that any of the other people probably had more information about his task than him.
That's probably why he didn't want to answer your questions, is he just didn't know.
Or yes, and he like pretty much immediately disregarded what Ivy said as well. It's just like, He doesn't seem like
He's a sexist asshole. He isn't the first one I've ever met, and he won't be the last.
That's a very blunt way of putting it, I suppose.
Well, for someone like that, there's no better way than blunt, because that's all they respond to.
That's fair.
Well, I can commune with Ninoslav and confirm our timeline for the pickup if you guys want to see what.
Should be for the best, I think. We don't want to make him mad.
Yeah, of course I don't want to do anything to jeopardize our mission or our jobs or anything on that end, but I fear if we don't take this douchebag on this task and prove ourselves here, he's just going to make everything harder and more complicated in the future.
Alright, well. Let's find somewhere quiet for me to do my spell.
Okay. You gonna head back to your room, or are you gonna...
Do they have any chain restaurants around here?
There are no chain restaurants in Megiddo. Just places that you could grab a bite to eat. There's not really even sit-down eating establishments here.
Are there any libraries on the way? Have we noticed any libraries?
There are no libraries in Megiddo.
I guess back to our room then?
Yes, and we're paying for it. Might as well make use of it.
Yeah. You get back to the room. All is as it was. The guard is still relaxing as you come through. And you make your way in. What is your
I'm
message
formulating.
to Ninoslav?
Yeah, I'm formulating. The other party wants to discuss something or want me to include in my message.
The other
I'm
members of
giving
the party,
Hunter-
or do you want me to cut to a different campaign so the other party can do their thing?
I meant the other party members.
I'm giving Hunter some treats. I assumed that we had left him in the room kind of to...
Yeah, Hunter's excited to see you again. See you alive. And well, and now that you have treats, it's even better. Can't really do dog faces.
That's okay. I'll be like, oh, I see you have taken good care of Hunter while I was away.
Yes, I have my message unless any of you have anything specific. I'm basically going to ask. Basically, we've come up with an unexpected problem for Ivy to solve. Can we wait on picking up Elizabeth? I'm giving him a range of 3 to 4 days, but may take longer. What do you guys think?
That sounds reasonable.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
All right.
You will get the reply back. The situation is largely under control. Take what time you need, just don't be extravagant about it.
He said we must be immediate and get Elizabeth immediately. No. He said, as long as we don't take too long, this should be doable. So perhaps we should solve this issue first so that we're not doubling back later.
Yes, that would be good. I
That
think.
sounds good.
I mean, I would like to come back at some point and maybe talk to Evelina more, but obviously all of our other things take precedent over that. So, Antaeus, know
yes?
anything about frost giants and or some frost king thing?
Do I know anything about that? That's a
Give
good
me a
question.
knowledge, geography, or history.
They're both the same bonus. So
Pick-
I'll just
pick
do
one.
both if that's alright. Oh,
Pick one.
okay. I guess I would do geography because they might be different than typical
So
giants. or
frost giants
whatever.
was the first question, right?
I think so.
Yeah, basically, I'm just like, obviously, we know we're probably gonna have to fight, like, frost giants, and I'm assuming if this thing is calling itself a frost king or something, maybe it's some type of frost giant with, I don't know, something special to it or about it. So I'm assuming if we can at least get some general knowledge on, like, frost giants, we'll have a good idea of what hazards we could expect and if there's anything we want to prepare for while we're in town before we, like, head that direction.
So yeah, Antaeus, with that, you will know that that frost giants first and foremost are a bit of a reckless society of sorts. Largely in frost giant society, it's whoever gets to the top and can stay at the top remains the top. It has elements reminiscent to old goblinoid society. Like there are a lot of striking similarities between the two, which would be somewhat unexpected, considering how different the development cycle has been for these two creatures. So becoming king is probably more of a status. It probably shows that you have some greater ability to defend yourself and to take down anyone who might otherwise threaten your position. Innately, you'll know that these creatures are not affected at all by the cold weather conditions of the mountains, and by proxy, like, they're not affected by seemingly any cold at all. But they haven't really spent any time around fire, not having the need for it, and so that tends to make them a bit more vulnerable to fire.
Okay, so no frigid touch, and I need a fire touch attack.
They are quite strong, and they are faster than one might think. Not significantly faster, just faster than you might otherwise think. And they are large, but they often do lack a lot of structure. It's very weird from what they say, if what they say is true, it's very weird to have any sort of, like, frost giant civilization that has any semblance of order in and amongst themselves, let alone having a frost giant society that has a semblance of order outside of its civilization.
Antaeus, are you aware of if any were to cast spells, do they have any signature ones that they may employ?
Would I know anything about any spellcasting abilities or any supernatural abilities they might have?
Frost giants don't usually deal in the realm of spells.
But the king might be different based on whatever
The
it is
king
that he
could be
has.
different, yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's not a lot of record on frost giants and their lineage. You get the impression, even if there was, being this sort of, like, each king makes the decisions kind of thing, any notes about the previous administration would likely be immediately removed.
Notes?
saying.
Oh,
like,
I mean, from outside perspective.
Well,
Okay.
I'm from like an inside perspective. Like if they were writing them, the next administration would be like, oh, those are all gone. No one needs to know there was a king before me.
Yeah, I was like, wait, they take notes?
I mean, they're smart
might be
enough to do
assuming.
some of that. They can write.
But these abilities that that has been described to him don't sound like anything, like any one thing that I can think of, though, right? There's nothing.
No.
It sounds like a hodgepodge of different, like mind controls and
Mind controls,
potentially-
weather controls. Like these are some very bizarre things for just one thing to have control over.
Yeah.
Even from a spell perspective, like it wouldn't fit to have something that both controls the weather and can create avalanches, but then also can somehow mind control giants. Those two things aren't in the same wheelhouse of spells.
Yeah, so it wouldn't make sense for one item to have, or one thing to have that.
Are you aware of any other maybe common creatures in this area that we should be aware of? Or preparing for this journey?
That's a good
Give
question.
me another. Yep. So yeah, you know that there will be hill giants, there will be stone giants. You're also aware that there are ogres and the occasional rock.
I know of if they have any allegiances or anything to any of the giants.
The ogres are. Let me double check something here about the ogre civilizations you could run into. The ogres don't typically have any allegiance to anyone. They sort of operate in their own society of sorts. And as of late, the ogre numbers have been sort of thinning.
Also, is it odd for rocks to be out here, or are there mountains high enough to?
Oh, the mountains out here are
Actually-
very high. Some of them are quite high, and oftentimes a rock will come down to catch its prey in the lower mountain ranges.
Okay, I guess I underestimated how high they actually were. I was probably comparing them to the other mountain ranges we were at.
Yeah.
Quick out of character question.
Mhm.
There is no way other than leveling up that bards can get new spells, is there?
That is basically correct. A bard itself has the ability to retrain at like.
But it has
5th,
to
8th,
be
and...
when you level and you receive your other new spells.
And actually, to retrain, it is only at specific key level points.
Yeah, but it calls out specifically that it has to be like when you're in the leveling up process and you're receiving your new spells for that level.
Correct.
So,
So
'cause technically
something.
we're at 8th level where that would be a retraining level, but you have to do it like when you level.
Something for this game that you can do is I do allow you to naturally go through a retrain period. You can actually learn how to do spells. The fundamental idea behind this is that as a like charisma-based caster, your ability to cast spells is sort of based on having like a feeling and kind of letting the magic flow through you, kind of like guiding magic as it kind of touches and reaches out to you. And so what you learn to do is you learn how to manipulate those motions. But much like when a person sometimes learns like different martial arts forms, those martial arts forms can sometimes blend over top of each other, and you find that like you are blending your Muay Thai and Capoeira, or your like your karate, and like you just end up with this thing that is the thing you prefer to do more, that's within the one thing that might blend into the other thing. So you can kind of change, you can kind of start to forget how you do one thing because your focus has become more so on this other thing.
I think that raw spontaneous can just retrain spells.
Can they? I thought that was
Yeah.
one thing that the retraining rules didn't have.
No, they do,
Okay.
and I realized that because I was like, it sucks if you just make a wrong decision and you're like stuck waiting for those level ups.
Yeah.
But you can, but it's like pretty restrictive. Like you have to find someone with that spell.
Yes.
They got to teach you it. Yeah, like it's a whole thing.
Yep.
So. But that depends on what you want to do because it's your world.
No, I mean that's fundamentally how I was doing it. So it's good to know that Raw agrees with the way that I have it planned. So
What bard are we wanting to relearn?
No, sorry. My spell casting is based off the bards.
Oh,
That's why
okay.
I was
like,
asking because I know he knows a good amount about bards.
Yep.
So, the archetype I am for the magus basically uses the spell known, the spells per day, and the same spell acquisition as a bard.
Yep.
okay.
Did you want to switch out a spell?
Well, I was trying to decide or see if there was even a decent touch attack fire spell that's low enough to be used, but yeah, I don't know if there is anything. There's like ranged ones, because that was my thought process. Like, could I like switch out a spell to have some sort of fire touch attack option? But I'm probably not going to be able to. I'm just going to have to know that in this area, stick to.
Could I possibly cast that on Ivy's weapon? Would it work? Fiery runes.
Can you throw it in the chat?
What
It
is
didn't
that?
show up.
Oh, I put it in private clinical.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I was just thinking specifically because when I'm doing spell combat, I do a spell. Sounds like Frigid Touch is going to be useless against this area, so that basically leaves me with Shocking Grasp, which is obviously a good option.
Oh,
It
that
does plenty of
sounds sick.
damage.
Yeah, fiery runes would work.
It's
So-
a mega spell too. Yeah.
I can actually cast that because I mean I would have druids know their whole spell,
Mhm.
so I could cast that on Ivy's weapon to help maybe.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
give her some
Yeah.
fire
I think that'd
damage
be-
in there.
The only part I would recommend is that you like grab her blade and make it go on fire, whatever it does, before she runs in, because you don't want to run.
No, what
beside
I
her.
advise you to
Just
do
spell
is
story.
start with the blade in your hand, and then like she'll run up, and then you run up behind her, and you hand her the blade.
Oh my god.
Actually, Steve, no memeing. You might want to just leave your blade with Niev, and she can just do it and then hand it to you, and then you run. So you don't have
Oh
to, like,
man,
waste your...
no memeing, but what you should do is leave your blade with Niev, and then you can run forward, and Niev can run the
Oh
other
my
way.
God.
Oh my god.
Also, Niev probably would be looking into using her summoning Nature's Ally to summon a fire elemental as a heads up.
Yeah, if you're discussing now, say, remember what happened in the area of Krozkron. It is the opposite element, but they are sometimes weaker in that plane. Like remember your ice just melted instantly. The fire might be put out in the snow or wherever we are.
I just thought, according to Antaeus, that they were vulnerable to fire.
Right, but I mean the terrain may not be good for your elemental. Just something to consider.
like if we're higher up in the mountains where it's a lot snowier, it might be overwhelmed by the amount of snow or cold or something to that effect.
I see.
Maybe there's some sort of knowledge check you could roll to figure.
Valid point.
Would that be in nature?
Yeah, give me a knowledge nature.
Okay.
I'll take one from both of you, because Antaeus' dice went the other way now that somebody has
Yeah.
called the fact that his dice rolls were high.
Got shy and they shrunk.
Well, between the two of you, you'll know that the higher up in the mountains you get, the harder it will be for a fire elemental to sort of sustain itself. Probably in the lower parts of the mountains you'll be fine, but as you start getting into like frost territory, frost giant territory, it'll probably be slowly losing some of its energy as it participates in any combat you might be in.
Well, I have a short list of things I think we will need if anyone wants to chime in. I think we should invest in some winter clothing. We will prepare enter elements, but in case one of us is knocked out or unable to learn spells, we have a backup. We should pick up or talk to some locals if they have strategies for avoiding detection by the rocks. Perhaps our clothing can be camouflaged with the terrain. We don't stand out as much from above. I was also planning on preparing tongues so that we may communicate with the giants. And speaking of communication, Antaeus, you last time prepared a gift for some of them. It sounds like this Frost King will be out of our league and we may need to bargain with him. Maybe we should have some sort of gift prepared for him to try to communicate.
Do you really think this Frost King is going to so easily give up whatever?
Not give up, but perhaps trade. And if not, obviously we fight as a last resort, but if we're to trust what those members told us, they said most people flee or try to trade with them and not try to engage them. So I think
Yeah,
it's
but
gonna
that's
be.
most people. I don't think we are at the same power level as most people.
This is true. I'm just saying it doesn't hurt to try. We don't need to
Sure.
murder everything immediately.
I just don't want us to also have false hope that we'll be able to
No.
trade and
This is more of a
magically-
plan A. Plan B would be to, of course, fight. Doesn't hurt to
Okay.
try. At least my conscience will be clear if we try to barter with the creature and he just refuses and tries to kill us. We did our part.
Sure, we can try to barter first as long as we're completely prepared to fight it.
Yes.
Perhaps instead of
Hmm.
summoning a fire elemental, I could summon a bison.
An M bison?
A it just says herd
Bison.
animal bison.
Will this
I
be
know, I was
effective
being
against
stupid
giants?
about M bison.
Sounds like this is something they may hunt for food. It may not. Is it a?
It might distract them if they're hungry.
That is true. That is true.
I'm just trying to think of some, because my strength is in summoning. I'm trying to think of something that I can summon that will help with
Of
damage,
course.
perhaps crowd
Hmm.
control.
Yes, I think your best bet is to summon multiple creatures to distract instead of one large one, because if a giant targets it, it may soak one blow, but if you have multiple creatures, they would soak many blows. But this is just my thought. I'm not an expert in summoning.
No, it's a good thought.
Just to clarify, so this is not going to be. This would not be as bad as summoning your ice elemental in a magma enriched area. This is not like hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds, or I guess not hundreds upon hundreds, but like this is not multiple 100-degree weather. A fire creature is going to do a lot better in cold conditions than an ice creature is going to do in extreme heat conditions. Down there, you were talking about like what if you take out your flask to take a drink of water, like it is almost evaporating as fast as you can drink it. Whereas in the tops of the mountains, you're in the negative degrees, so it's gonna be a little while before it, like, it's gonna take some damage, but it's not gonna take like lots and lots of damage as things happen. There's gonna be a substantial difference between the two.
That knowledge arcana, by the way, I was trying to figure out if there was anything that would help us, because it sounds like it's going to be pretty high. If there's anything that would help us with our breathing or anything of that nature that might be impeded by the weather.
So you do know that the oxygen starts to get low when you're up there. Most able-bodied people can handle it. If you really need it, there are items there that can give you the ability to not have to worry about diminished oxygen.
Like any specific items that I would know offhand? Or...
I don't know them off the top of my head at the moment.
I know there's an air bladder, but that's more just for like if you have no air at all. But I don't know. It gives you like one round of air. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but.
Well, I didn't know if like going up there, like I don't have a very high constitution, and my strength is irrelevant at this point for that. But my
if I had one more
constitution
level could have gave us bubbles of air around our heads, but.
Hey, I've seen Avatar. I know how that works. That's not what I want.
I think that spell's too high for me at the moment. Yeah, it's 5th level. Oh, but it's a what? Oh, I assume you don't have access to 4th level spells, Nia, do you?
I do.
Does.
You do?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can get life level.
She's the same level as you.
Well, because I didn't know if hers scaled differently. Because
no, Druid scale
it's a
does
I
5th
don't have
level.
fourth.
It's
I
a
have
5th
third
level for
level,
me,
so-
but it's a 4th level for her. So I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
because
that's
it's more of a druidic a spell of druidic nature than it is a spell of clerical nature.
Well, I would suggest you take life bubble.
Oh, okay. I can do
It's
that.
like trying to get lifelink outside of white magic.
We would be unaffected by the climate for our breath.
12 per level.
I don't know if there's another important spell you were putting in that slot though.
Well, let's see. Currently, I can prepare 3 4th circle spells. So, I was thinking perhaps, yeah, I can do the life bubble. I usually have a summon nature's ally for that. And perhaps I can do, I don't know, greater fire sphere.
Sure. As long as one is life bubble, I think it lasts all day for you. And all you can do it on all of us. This magic eludes me, but I can't wait to use it. So,
You get a preview with me.
yes, I'm intending to prepare for tomorrow. Restoration for you. Tongues to communicate. And then just the normal protective magics. I was going to take some protection from energy for the potential ice damage from the giants we may take. Although I don't know how timely this will be. I can't really do it unless we know we're gonna encounter him within an hour or so. I could do it.
If you'd like, I can take protection from energy.
So a quick thing to note. So I don't want you guys to get blown out by this, but you guys should read the last paragraph of Life Bubble very carefully.
Read.
The dividing the duration.
Yeah. Because you said it's 24 hours, but it's not.
No, I said it should last all day. I think.
Okay.
How many hours do you have?
I mean,
2 per level.
16,
So 16
so-
hours divided by the 4 of us, right? Or
Well, if you don't want to
5
give it
of
to
us.
Hunter, she might
yeah.
have to cast it twice if we want it all day. But I mean, she would only have to cast it, I guess, when we get high enough altitude.
Yep.
And I think animals. I think Hunter will be fine. Like, I think animals are more resistant to that. I don't know. Maybe. I guess up to you. You make the call, but I would still take it. It's a useful spell no matter what.
it's fine. It's just the second animal companion should lose. No big deal.
I can take protection from energy. I can prepare that for tomorrow. Protection from energy, if you'd like.
Well, I have communal and all that. I just don't know if we'll
Well, if
make
you...
use of it.
Oh no, you said protection from energy. Sorry.
Yeah, I have resist and protection. I just don't know if these will be useful because we would need to do it hours in advance. It only
I
lasts.
also have communal endure elements that I can take.
As Antaeus pointed out, I think it's better if we just take the normal one. And
Also,
Put on everyone.
life bubble includes endure elements.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Does it?
The shell protects subjects from the extremes of temperatures per endure elements.
Yeah, but that'll just be around your face. What about your body?
No, you surround the touched creatures with a constant immovable 1-inch shell of tolerable living conditions.
Oh, I
Their
always
whole
said
body
head-
has like a
Oh.
film over top of them of like a regular like their house or whatever.
Huh. Wow. Then maybe it is worth taking just 2 casting of this to have it on us all for 8 hours. And then when we go to, if we have to sleep, we can do endure elements for sleep. So that's up to you.
I was going to say I also have access to a third circle spell called Quell Energy. It reduces the target's ability to tap into a single energy type.
Oh, that's interesting.
You mean offensively?
Yes, if it comes
Is
to
it
a
a
fight.
touch spell?
'Cause it is
Mia,
a
I'm putting a
close-
foot down. You are not
No.
approaching the giants anymore.
Let's see, 5 feet. It's 25 feet plus 5 feet per 2 levels. So,
Oh, so you could do it at a
so
little
45
bit of a-
feet away.
Okay. I don't think the cold is their main. It sounds like they use brutish weapons, and cold
They're
may just be an after
resistant
effect.
to cold.
Well, I mean, their cold they may apply will not be as deadly as I'm. I don't think it's necessary to go that far, but that's just my guess. I don't know. Maybe it is. I think if we're able to get protection up, I think if you had the choice between giving us all protection from the energy or that, I think protection would be better. I think. I don't know. That's my 2 cents. That's my 2 copper.
Well, my communal protection from energy is in the same circle as Life Bubble. So I would have to
Well,
make a choice.
I could prepare one of those, or Antaeus.
Yes, I could take protection from energy.
The problem is with just single protection, you only could do 1 person at a time. Hopefully we would have time to prepare. But if it's an emergency, well, I guess If you want to take protection, I could do communal resist as a emergency. Or communal protection, whichever you guys think is more. I think resist may be enough.
And what do you all think of me being able to summon a flaming sphere to, go towards our enemies?
The flaming sphere. I do like that spell.
From what I've heard, fire sucks.
As long as it doesn't hit me, I'm cool with it.
At least you can control it, right?
Make sure of that.
Is this
Yeah,
a
it'll be-
fourth circle?
So the greater flaming sphere is a 4th circle. I believe the lesser flaming sphere is a 2nd circle.
I believe the sphere moves as long as you actively direct it to move, which I think would essentially, instead of you moving,
Yes.
I think you would have to move it.
I would point it in the direction and it burns those it strikes. It moves 30 feet around.
Yes.
I would definitely take the lower version. As we heard, they're not familiar with fire. It may just scare them, if not do additional harm to them.
And for a second circle spell, then that would be some decent damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, it should be about half as much if I remember correctly.
Yes.
That sounds fine. I think we. Is there any other items anyone has thought of picking up?
We just need to make sure we get winter outfit for Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
Also, I don't know if we require any climbing gear, or is the mountain steep, or is it?
There are paths that will lead you up that you know you can follow. The map is indicates a couple of different paths that go a few different directions, which also kind of helps you figure out where you're going.
They make hedgehog-sized winter clothing.
Somebody needs a
I
copy
believe-
of Familiar Pocket.
I believe they do.
Yeah. So if no one has any other ideas, I think we go shopping for our stuff.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys can pick up some winter gear if you really think that's going to help.
Should we each add this to our character sheet? Are we bringing I don't think we can bring a cart, so we each added it to our own character sheets.
I want to know offhand how much it weighs.
I do not know offhand. Probably in the 5 to 10 pound range.
Ooh.
Outfit cold weather 7 pounds. Animal companion is 6 pounds if you care about your weight on Hunter.
I do care about the weight on Hunter. But training with weighted clothing will make him stronger.
Yeah, so do we get a group price for all these clothes we're buying, or should we just do what it's 8 gold on the website?
Yeah, you just buy
Eight gold-
just buy
8 gold
it.
each?
Yep.
Yeah, so animal companion one is 15 gold. For you animal lovers.
I will subtract mine and Hunter's from my gold.
I subtracted my gold.
And you said it was a winter outfit?
Winter clothing, yeah. Outfit
Okay.
cold weather, to be
Okay.
precise. You want the exact name of it?
Cold weather
We
outfit.
This will give us +5 circumstance bonus on fort saves to exposure to cold weather.
Yep. It's what every GM hopes their party's not taken with them into the mountains.
Okay, but actually, is there something I can get for the hedgehog? 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know if
Somebody
it
can
really is.
custom fit you something, or you can
Okay.
just get
How-
take like a bunch of blankets and stuff them in a pocket and tell your familiar to hang out there.
Okay.
And you can pay what a cold weather outfit would cost for them, because they need to be like nice, thick blankets.
All right. Yeah, if we can pick all those things up, I think we're ready to go to sleep and change out some spells.
Okay. What spells you picking up?
Yes, let's change them up. I don't want to
Actually-
change them in case we were stabbed in the night.
You're not going to
would
get
the,
stabbed in the night. You guys paid enough money to not get stabbed in the night.
So,
would you still
just don't
gain
forget you need the restoration
Yep.
stuff too.
Would you still gain the benefit of your familiar if you had the carry companion spell used on it?
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Because it works similarly to flesh of stone, right? Or flesh to stone, sticks to snakes.
It doesn't seem like you wouldn't gain it. So,
Yeah, because it essentially would just turn them into a small statuette, right?
yeah.
So that could be something that Niev might be able to do, because it seems like an indefinite thing that you could turn off. I don't know if you'd still gain your abilities from...
That was how I got Hunter up the cliff in the and the hedgehog as well up the cliff in the dwarven area. Is I turned them both into a statue, and then I can just dismiss it.
I don't know if you still gain your benefits from it, Ivy, though. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, it's fine. That seems like it would work if you wanted to go that route as well.
Okay. I mean, I'll have Niev.
I personally like the familiars making checks versus...
No! My familiar is weak. I don't want it to have to make checks against the environment. It'll die and I'll be
That's
sad.
the whole point of having a familiar, so I can make
But
you cry.
I don't want my hedgehog to die. He's small and he's cute and he doesn't deserve a cold death.
It's just like in Storm King's Thunder, every time I get to kill one of those wolves, it's such a good feeling.
You want me just to say my spells out loud, or
No, you're fine.
type them?
I trust you.
Okay.
Start giving me reason to distrust you, and then I'll start having you type out your spells in chat.
I kind of just like it just because they did that in Hardcore Heroes.
Yeah.
It makes me feel cool. Yeah, I have these spells all good. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so we have to do the blood money thing. There's something else I was thinking of. Oh, we're paying for this room daily, I believe, right?
Mhm.
So do we owe any more gold? Has any
Yeah,
more
I think
days
it's
turned?
15 gold if I remember right.
So we.
I think it was
One more
more
day.
than that, actually, for the
Oh yeah,
I
you
think I
guys
got
high
the
security.
details.
it's 25 gold a night.
For all of us, or one?
I
for-
thought it was 30 because I remember I
I think it was
tried to give
30.
them
Yeah.
25 because I think I got the detail on the room
Right.
as well.
You're right.
So I'll pay for that.
Yep.
Is that for all of us? 30?
Yeah, I assume we're all in the same room.
Yeah. We only have one room.
Yeah.
I'll just say
how-
to Antaeus, as you're paying, we're probably going to be gone for a few days, so perhaps just pay for the taking care of our cart and the horse while we're gone.
Would I be able to pay for days in advance? And then if we
Yeah,
don't
you can
utilize
pay
them,
for days in advance. How many days you want to pay?
Not the room,
Now-
just the cart.
Well, if we pay for, well, actually, yes. If we're bringing all of our stuff with us, that's a good point.
Yeah, just the we want our
Um,
cart protected.
Yes, if we wanted to, we were leaving the city for a few days, but if we wanted to keep the cart protection, that was
You gotta
how
take
much
you gotta take the room with the cart.
Ah, yes.
What? Uh-oh. Well, we just need a minimum. We don't need high protection on the room.
That's fine. I can't promise you the room
That's
will be
fair.
in good condition when you get there.
Well, wait, but we won't be there. Does that matter?
It's fine if it's fine with you.
I mean, is this a
Do we
trick?
get
Do we have to pay for repairs?
charged?
Yeah.
Yeah, if the
I mean, if there's damages to the room while you own the room, you gotta pay for those damages.
ugh.
If we keep our current rate, can you make sure the horses are fed and cared for then, at least?
Yeah, and we'll make sure the room ends up okay.
Now,
I don't like the way you phrased that.
now, would the room still be just as okay if we say instead of having the detail around the room, had it around our cart?
You're gonna move the detail, you're gonna change the quality of the room, you know? Somebody might come in and they might muck with things. Maybe they won't, you never know. Just the way things work around here.
Well, what if we just shifted the priority to being to the cart as
Right,
opposed
that's what
to
I'm
the
saying. You
room?
shift the priority, you're gonna change the likelihood of something happening on the other side.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, if we can we get a different room in order to facilitate that? 'Cause
Why
we
you need
did
a
it
different room? Your room's fine.
We don't need a room with
This
as
town
much
is
high security.
So annoying.
Sure, we're gonna cut down the security, and if something happens, it's on you.
Goran kind of rubs his temple and then kind of like nudges Niev and Ivy, so whispers, "Aren't you two better with your words? I don't think
These rooms are the exact same.
Teus
Are
are
they
not good
not?
with negotiations."
It's a,
Niev is over here trying to figure out spells, so...
Ah, yes. I just realized that all rooms are the exact same.
Is this guy behind there a human?
yeah, he's behind the desk. He's got his feet up on the desk.
I
Okay.
nudge Niev, or I nudge Ivy for her and say, "Put your arms together and say nice things to this guy."
So I'm going to approach him, and I will say to him, perhaps could you direct us to some stables? We really only need the cart.
Well, we've been over this already. There ain't no stables. Why you just, what's wrong with staying here? You got a problem?
There's no problem.
You can stay somewhere else, it'll be worse.
I am perfectly content with the accommodations here.
Right.
However,
I mean, your horse has been in good condition, right? We didn't kill that dog either.
Jesus.
Though it looks really delicious.
I just simply want to ensure that our horses will be cared for and our cart will be secure.
Yeah, that's what you pay the money for, right?
Correct. And nobody will come up to our room and...
You keep the current arrangement, everything should be fine. Just keep paying the 30 gold a night, you're good to go.
Sorry, I thought it was 25 gold a night.
I got told by somebody else it was 30.
That's
It
not
was
what
30.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I was actually paying extra, more than he actually started, because I wanted to make sure we had a better detail on our room. Because I don't trust this area at all, and that way I would just shut him up. He kept talking too much, and I was just like, you know what, whatever we need to pay to get out of this
Alright,
situation.
Look, let's be fair, okay? Why don't you tell me why I should make this any easier for you? Huh?
Well, actually, we're adventuring near some giants. Is there anything you might want from that area?
I'm sorry,
Perhaps
I don't know what you have to offer.
Now, if we bought in advance, say like a week's worth, would there be any kind of discount on that?
I don't know. Why don't you give me a diplomacy check and tell me?
Wait, when you said I don't have anything to offer, was he implying you wanted sexual favors from the lady?
Oh yeah.
So, Antaeus, he's just like, what are you, if you're gonna pay what you're gonna pay. Now, you on the other hand, what can we do to make this easier if this is such a problem for you? You guys just not got the money? You guys need help with the money?
We don't need help with the money. We just want to ensure that our things will be as we left them. Our horses will be cared for while we go help out the town with a giant problem.
Look, I'm taking care of a lot of things here, you know, but I'm not really feeling particularly taken care of, you know? If I'm not really feeling taken care of, I need money to compensate me for my lack of comfort.
Goran whispers to Ivy, "You slept with a goblin, didn't you? It can't be much worse." Just do it.
Why is that the? I was gonna see if I could remember any of the other, if there were any other like inns in this area that were under the same house.
There are no other inns in the same house.
Okay, and no like stables or anything.
No.
Okay. Damn, I was gonna try to.
They're pretty honest, and going to other families isn't necessarily going to improve things.
Yeah, well, I figured I would take the business from somewhere in this house to a different person in this house to try to get a better rate. But
yeah, you're ultimately word is going to one of the things you do know is word travels around here. So like if you came from one family to another family, you're basically going to create like a bit of infighting between the two places. Like somebody's going to try to break into your place just to prove that the other place is less secure. And if you go to another person in the same family, you're going to basically get the same treatment. They're going to be like, oh, they're looking to shop around. Why don't you give them the shop around treatment?
Ugh.
All right, sir. What do we need to do to make sure that you're taken care of?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you got to offer. I mean, looking at you, it looks like you got quite a bit to offer. I'm just...
Is prostitution legal here? Can we just purchase you a lady of the night and get this over with, or is this?
More golden tails? We have ladies in the... I don't see that.
I can't imagine that they'd be too expensive around here. I'm assuming this is all for my one that I got on my diplomacy.
So I mean, yeah, there are technically people that you could purchase for entertainment purposes. But you know that like he probably knows the cost of whoever it is you're going to pick up. And so you're just paying you're getting a direct discount for the money put in.
Antaeus, can't you just make him some ale the way that you did for the giants?
Oh,
He makes ale. What kind of ale you make?
I don't know. I don't know if that seems like it would be something that like I don't know if he'd be able to handle that.
What are you saying? Think I'm some kind of wimp?
Well, I mean, I guess.
I think to run this kind of thing, I'm gonna need some kind of bluff check against intimidate or against his sense motive here.
That's where I'm a Viking.
Oh, that's not coming from you though, Antaeus. That would be coming from.
Oh, thank God.
Because this is largely Niev trying to sell the alcohol.
Yes, I agree. It is. It's entirely Niev. She should roll a bluff check as opposed to me. That's much better.
That was a low roll too.
I can handle things. I don't know what you're talking about.
What's the strongest drink you've ever
Sure
had?
you can.
I could handle you.
Yes, that's what we're
Wanna
trying to
bet?
avoid. No,
Yeah,
don't engage. in
I
this.
do. And he'll like actually sit up at
this.
that point. I'll
I'm
show
like,
you.
all right,
I can.
let's go.
Yeah, and he'll point in the other way to the rooms. Let's go.
Right, let's go.
Should we initiate sexual
Should have
intercourse
socked
with
this
you?
guy though. Should we put a sock on the door?
I mean,
I'm taking out pent-up anger and aggression from douche face earlier.
does he look like he's particularly well endowed in the Constitution area? Does he look like he's a scrawny dude or?
I mean, he looks medium built.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it should take him very long.
Yeah, make this quick, Ivy. We gotta get going.
I assumed you didn't want to partake, but I'm not gonna stop you. I mean, you've got like 2 or 3 minutes, right?
Who are you talking to?
What? I'm not.
Oh.
What are you talking about, man? I'm gonna show her what a real time is about.
Yes, a time,
Yeah.
a number of minutes and seconds. Yes.
Let's go. I'll prove to you
Exactly.
how good I am.
You will show her units of time. Good for
Waiting,
you.
bro.
He
While
likes
they're doing this.
He
Sorry.
You're
storms
gonna
for the
cast
room.
restoration on me while
Yeah.
you're doing this.
Yeah. So you can. Are you using the dagger? Correct.
Yes.
So go ahead and roll me a d6 and take 3 points of strength damage as you cast this spell.
3. Wait, what was the cost of it?
A 1,000 GP.
Oh, damn it! That's right. It was just above the
Max.
999.
Max hit point damage and 3 points of strength damage.
Good thing Ivy's been doing her kegels.
So
Sorry, 3
Yeah.
to strength? And sorry, you said that the 6 just reduces my max HP down?
no, 6 is you take 6 points of damage.
Oh, I just take 6 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, physical damage.
Ugh, that hurt.
So there's it'll take you a moment to cast your spell. In the meantime, Ivy, are you going back with this guy and are you going to misunderstand what he says and prove him wrong by beating him up?
No,
Okay.
I know what he's saying, but Ivy's like annoyed and pissed off at men right now, so she's like just gonna top this dude and
Oh,
put him in
God.
his place. Yeah.
So by the end of this guy's like, I don't know if I should have taken that option.
Yeah.
All right. In the meantime, Gulran, you bring the blade across your arm, and you start to like go through the motions you would for restoration. But as you do, you notice your hand, like the dagger sort of pulls your hand, and you plunge it into your gut for a moment. And as the blood starts to fill your hand, you can feel like this where you cut yourself on your arm, the blood is kind of dripping down your arm, and in your hand kind of starts to grow this big diamond. as you pull the blood-soaked dagger from your stomach, should actually do this with a better background music here. As you pull the dagger away, the dagger glistens a bright red color and sort of slowly begins to ignite, and you bring it towards the diamond, and as you do, you turn your hand as the diamond sort of manifests itself in a blood red shape, and you slowly cut away the pieces of the diamond, the knife moving easily as butter through the diamonds you hold in your hand. Once you've sliced it in enough pieces, you smush the dagger across the pieces like you're spreading jam across bread. And as you do, flecks of the diamond burst off of the tip of it. Bits of them turning into a very lustery red mist as they land upon Niev, each little bit passing bit by bit until you've scraped away the whole thing. And as this sort of mist and it's a very, how do I put this? Have you ever put wet sand on your face and then pushed your hand all around it? Or used those exfoliating soaps? So there's sort of a soft and creamy sensation, but also a rigid and rough sensation. You feel that as the blood diamond soaked hand of Gulran moves to your face and touches your face. And as it does, Niev, you stand in front of a large towering building. A man and a woman, dwarven in stature, stand before you, crying. You must do something. You must. Our child is in great danger. You can't tell us that you're unwilling to work. You're supposed to be working on their behalf. Why? Why won't you do anything for him? You look at the two of them with utter disgust, tired of the fact that for so long these dwarves have asked so much of you. These druids out here in the forests who claim their interests are in the woods, but yet they grow their own selves more and more, taking more of the resources, demanding more of the magic for themselves. This magic, the magic is yours. It's of your kind, and they think just because a little piece of themselves happens to share your legacy, that they have a right to your protection? Nonsense. These people, they don't deserve this. They don't deserve you. They can end just like the rest of them. This is your forest, yours to enjoy. And as Gulran pulls his hand away, you feel a comfort, a very twisted comfort. The feeling you have when you watch someone get hurt that you really didn't like. That twisted feeling of you get what you deserve.
So,
I didn't have any of that.
Nope, that was all for Niev.
I'm assuming that she doesn't show physical reaction. I'm assuming this just happens when she gets touched.
It happens when she gets touched. The moment his hand touches her face, this whole scene fills her mind. And as Gulran pulls his hand away, the scene comes to a close.
Okay, so it's not like with the psychometry or anything. It doesn't show off okay. Never mind then. I'll just be.
Yeah, I mean,
taking
she
notes
could have a
still.
reaction on her face because she literally just had this experience in in those moments. I think the look that was on Jess's face when Gulran pulled away was pretty accurate to what would probably be on Niev's face. Yeah, you can see that she clearly looks uncomfortable.
What's happened? Did the spell not work? Do you not feel yourself restored?
I feel myself restored, but I saw a vision of some sort when you cast the spell.
Hmm? Antaeus, what is the meaning of this? I kind of tossed the dagger back to him.
Yeah.
And I thought this was a minor cut. It forced itself into my gut. Oh,
I've never seen before.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah,
If I ever
you
used it.
touch your hand again and the wound will slowly come to a close.
Ah, that's
There might be
better.
some scarring though that you might not be able to get rid of.
What?
My hand. You've seen this, right?
No, I don't want to scar my. Is my chest scarred from this dagger?
You'd have to like pull your armor away a little more,
won't
but
be,
you'll
like,
see there's
major.
like a little bit of a cut, but you assume it'll probably heal over time.
You could. I asked you for lasting effects. You mentioned no scars.
That's cosmetic at best.
It's an effect that's lasting.
I suppose so.
I didn't think I'd just spell these things out with you, boy.
I didn't know I needed to give you every detail of the
Ah.
spell as well.
Yeah,
My
we'll
apologies.
be.
I'll know next time.
Ah,
I'll read it verbatim out of the book.
we'll be using a diamond dust next time. I don't like this.
Steve, would I be able? Did those dwarves look in any way? Did they resemble Goron? I'm gonna look at Goron and say, I think I saw your parents.
What? You must have been seeing things. It's a tough
Alright.
spell. It's an ordeal to come back. Maybe when I restored you, you just saw me, and you saw double.
They were begging for help for their son. I didn't experience it from the kindest point of view, but they seem to be trying to get you help. At least they looked similar to you. Perhaps they weren't your parents, but that was the impression I got.
I think back to the memory I had of my parents when I touched that vine. Were they asking for help at that point? I don't remember the exact.
Your parents at that point had given up.
Okay,
They were trying to find a way to take care of you and making a deal with where you were going to go.
Right. So, but I vaguely remember them asking like someone for something, like they were pleading for something.
They
right?
were
Like,
pleading,
someone
yeah,
take
for
me.
you to be taken back to the city.
Basically, it seemed like it was implied that they were talking to
Moirin.
what's his name?
Yeah.
Moirin. It seemed like they were like pleading him to take me on or something.
Probably.
So okay, so I'm just trying to like connect the dots. If this is like plausible to go on, like oh, like my parents were asking for aid there. Does it make sense that she saw them asking for aid? Is this connected, kind of thing?
Could be, yeah. That's a pretty plausible thing to connect.
Actually, Goron, you recall what your parents look like, right?
Do I? I was pretty small, probably. So
Yes.
Vaguely, you can remember a little bit from the visions that you saw, but it's still kind of vague. It's cloudy like in a dream. Like if somebody were to present you with the face of your parents, your dream would immediately kick in and go, "Oh yeah, that's where I know those faces from."
Aha! I'm gonna check to make sure I have all my drug components to make sure that she didn't take anything. And then I'm also gonna pull out the Minds link.
Okay.
You take one of these and you take one of these. Yeah, you should be able to share that memory if you want, of course, with him. It might jog his memory as far as if it's his parents or if he knows them at all.
I will, but Goron, please know that this memory, it's not the kindest memory. I don't remember this being me, but perhaps it was. We don't fully know what happened to bring me back. And
I'm an adult dwarf, Niev. I can handle it. I appreciate you giving me a heads up, though.
I will take it and share the memories with.
Do I have to take this at the same time?
Yeah, you both take.
Well,
you put on the pieces.
Hold on.
What?
I said, hold on. I like as she puts it to her lips, I say, wait. Before I do anything crazy, I want Crosskron with me if I can find my damn character sheet.
There might be unintended side effects of this if you do that. It doesn't sound like it's well, she's sharing you a memory of a former life of hers. I don't know exactly what would happen, but I know that I wouldn't be surprised if there were some lasting effects, like when I use my psychometry. I mean, they can be negated eventually. You'd have to work through them, but
this is why I'm bringing Crosskron with me. Probably has no mechanical, but I'm gonna give this to myself.
Yeah.
And then I drink with her or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a linked headband.
Oh, okay.
That was what this is, right? That's the.
Yeah, I don't know if I explicitly I think that one she gave me something that she gave me a design for that one, I think, but I don't remember specifically.
But you feel some thoughts come from Niev. But what you get is not what Niev thinks she's sending. Niev, you envision yourself sending the thoughts of the vision you just have. Gul'ran, you watch as a starry black-eyed creature with long fingers and a large knife takes hold of what looks to be the throat of your father, brings the knife to his neck.
Can I act at all, or am I frozen?
You're frozen, watching from a distance as this memory unfolds. Where is he? What have you done with him? Something about these features seem to have a strange familiarity to those you've seen in Niev, but different. Tell me where you put him. It was to be ours. You took our blood. Give us our blood. Sorry. You took our blood. Now give us our blood. I don't know where he is. The blade reaches up as he utters the last noise he will likely ever utter as it plunges into his neck. The figure...
Just for, I don't know if I can, but Gul'ran would be screaming, but maybe nothing comes out, or running towards him.
Yeah, you're you can move yourself in closer and you can start yelling like you're trying to stop it, but the closer you get, it has that sort of, you could run for infinity, and it always looks like you're moving closer, but yeah, nothing is ever actually getting closer. And as you watch the body hit the ground, you watch Niev, or whatever this figure is, this similar to Niev figure, lick the blood away, and then look to you. If it worked, you'll be watching. We're coming for you. And the vision closes.
Excellent. It must have worked then. What? Did something happen? Are you guys okay?
The good news is, Gul'ran, your honor bound will help you resist the damage you would take.
Sanity damage?
Yes.
What am I taking?
None.
Oh, it absorbs it.
Yeah.
Ooh. So I guess like I feel like an attack on my psyche, and I feel like maybe when I come out of it, I'm like feeling shaken and I'm about to fall over, and then I feel like a hand like hold me back up, and it's like Krazkron's like holding me back.
Yeah, and you can hear like the do not let this get in the way of your duty.
Mm-hmm.
Was it your parents?
It seems I have another creature to add to my list. And Goran will kind of just storm out of the room.
As Ghoulran storms out, Ivy, you can exit the room. There was not a lot of time that it took, and he will probably not be getting up for a while.
All right, guys, I took care of it.
I'm gonna look over at Niev. Her face specifically. Does it still have the effects of the blood money on it?
No, that actually fades in to her. The bits of like bloodied diamond kind of fade into the skin as you're applying the spell.
Okay, good. That would be a little off-putting.
I'll kind of be a little bit confused because to me, I just thought that he was seeing the memory that I, was trying to send.
Yeah, he should be sad, not angry.
Yeah. Did Goran look at me or have any kind of reaction towards me before he...
I think you would have saw like because I think Steve was implying it looks similar to you, probably a fey creature or something druidic or something. I think Goran would just have like a moment of like hatred at you, but like in the moment he'd realize he doesn't hate you, but hates like something that looks like you, and then that's what makes him like storm out to like think about this.
Yeah.
It looks similar to when Niev had the knife and she ended up stabbing Ivy a couple of times.
It probably would have been a different look.
Okay.
Because I mean, he's looking at her with the vision that he's having, not Niev having Niev's vision, doing this to somebody else.
Yeah, indeed.
I'll just sort of be confused, I guess, as to why he's angry, but maybe figure he's processing things differently and just sort of...
Well, you did hear me say I'm adding another creature to my list. That's
right.
Implying the dragon and then now this thing.
Right.
Well, it's implying that to you. I mean, she doesn't know.
Well, I mean, I only have one list, and I've only mentioned one creature that I wanted to kill so far. But
well, yeah, but we don't know about this other one, so it like.
Well,
it could be Niev that you're trying to kill.
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
that's what I was like.
You could take it that way. Actually, that is like a fair. Like, obviously, I probably wouldn't want to kill you, but that would, yeah. Like, if it seems like, oh, he was so angry, it looked like he wanted to kill me, and he mentioned about adding another creature to his list.
Am I the creature?
Like, yeah, I think that's a fair, like, yeah.
Especially considering the memory I thought I was sharing, so
right.
So I just kind of will look at Antaeus and be like, I guess we should give him a minute.
Probably for the best. See that we do need to get that back from him so I can use that again later. But yes, it's odd.
Before I would like leave the room, I would be like, so you gonna take care of our horses? Everything gonna be good when we get back?
Yeah.
All right.
It'll be taken care of.
Okay, good.
You're not gonna draw ire from the rest of the house for whatever you did to him, did you? Are we?
No, I think it should all be fine now. I think he shouldn't give us any more issues.
He's alive, correct?
Yeah. I just don't think he can walk. For the moment.
Or a few.
Alright. Well,
You're welcome to go check on him if you're really that worried or concerned.
No, I have no intention of going into that room. The door is closed behind her, right?
I mean, the door's not closed. The doors don't fully close. They just sort of like shut-ish. They don't. There's not like a real mechanism to keep the door closed. You just kind of push it and it stays roughly in place.
Well, if it's open at all, I would try to pull it closed as much as possible.
Give me a perception check.
I don't need to take sanity damage.
Oh, you won't take sanity damage. You'll just need some kind of eye cleanser.
Thaco?
No, so the higher you roll, the better it is. Or, so...
Worse.
No, not the worse. It's the better it is. So you wanted to roll high, so you're lucky you have a high perception.
Oh, okay.
Because you literally are like keeping your head turned in 180 degrees away, and you reach back and kind of just flawlessly grab the handle and pull the door. But you do hear, it's gonna be hard to open that.
is there anyone else that works there right now?
There's occasionally people walking around outside of it that kind of work alongside him.
I'll let the detail. Oh, yeah.
I was gonna try and find someone and just ask them to maybe check on him in a little bit. That he might.
The hell I need to check on him for? He's sitting at the desk all the time. He's drinking again.
He might need something to hydrate himself.
It's got lots of stuff to drink in there.
He might be. He might need a little help.
The hell'd you do to him?
It wasn't me. It was her.
He got exactly what he wanted.
Her? What'd you do to him?
He said that he could handle me, and I proved him wrong.
The guy quickly rushes inside, and after a moment he's like, "Oh, dude!" and comes rushing back out. The hell was that, guys? That wasn't cool, man.
He propositioned her first.
Well, I guess he got what was coming to him. I'll keep an eye on him. You guys heading out somewhere?
Yes, we should be leaving soon.
We still gotta take care of your horses?
Yes, please.
Yep, you're gonna take damn good care of them too.
Do I recognize this guy as part of the detail that I've
I don't
seen
want any of
before?
what he got, so...
Would I recognize him at all, or like, have I seen him
Yeah,
around,
he's one of the
or-
other guys that's been roaming about here.
Okay, and he's got the thing on his arm.
He's one of the
or his
detail.
leg. Okay. Just making sure.
All right, where's Gulron? Let's get the show on the road.
Oh, he stormed off after seeing a memory of Niev's, after he used the dagger to supplement for the material components for the restoration spell.
Okay, so she's restored?
Yes, I suppose.
Okay, let's go then.
Yeah, so let's find him.
Let's go find Gulron.
Yeah, you can find him. I assume Gulron walked a little ways away as well to kind of like burn off some steam, hopefully. But you guys can find him.
You seem in a better mood.
Just walk up and be like, all right, fearless leader, our horses will be well taken care of. I don't think we're paying any extra. Are we ready to do this?
Yes. Let's get to it.
And the four of you can set out to the east to climb the mountain. And not in the Zigmar way. And I think this is a good stopping point for tonight. Next week, you'll reach the foot of the mountain. And we will see how things go. Let's pass out some of the XPs. And I was fairly entertained tonight, so everybody can go ahead and take 1,500 XP.
What did that put you guys at? Because I think I just messed up my XP.
Oops.
55, 400.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. I like typed a wrong number and it erased what I had and put something different in, and then I was like, oops.
Yep, I hate when that happens, and so often you can't control Z because the system didn't retain whatever you just did.
Yeah, I was just about to suggest that because I've had to do that plenty of times.
But yeah, thank you all. It's been a lot of fun. We'll be back next week. Good night, everyone.